Alright, I'm back after a number of years making another video here on this important topic. This is about wind power. Now, my drawing skills have slid quite a bit over the years, but I'm going to try drawing on these contraptions. That. Got the three blades usually like that. And this part right here, the tower, is pretty damn tall. The whole thing can be 500 feet tall or more when they put them offshore. And you got this thing called the nacelle. It's about the size of the bus where all the gear action is going on, and the wind hits the blades like that, and then the blades spin like that. And you got some birds hitting the blades now and then, but that's just part of nature, you know, tough luck. Sometimes the birds get smacked, and the bats too, and some other critters. But this is power. This represents power. These things are big and they're bold. And Texas has got a whole bunch of them. I bring up Texas a lot in these videos, and I think they've got over 10,000 of these things. But they build them with oil, and you've probably seen the trucks hauling these things. You got your truck here. Let me move a little here so the light's better. You got your truck. It's got this trailer on the back of it, and just like one single blade of these things can be like maybe 100 yards long these days for some models. So the truck is to be set up to haul these things, and it's tricky business, and they've had a few accidents, and the drivers are pretty damn skilled. And a lot of times they put these things on mountains. Let's move over here a little. You got yourself a mountain, and they just jab the hell out of the tops of these mountains. And God appreciates this, because God wants us to build big. And these rows of turbines on the mountains can go on for miles and miles, and they have to build these access roads. And we got the truck backwards in this case, but pretend the truck is going up there, and the road has to be wide enough for the truck to swing the turn. So that means they got to cut down a lot of trees, you know, logging jobs, good jobs. And this is the environmentalists coming around to the side of Jesus and the side of God, because God wants us to subdue the earth and build all kinds of stuff all over. Texas, I believe, has over 10,000 of these things now. If I'm not mistaken, it could be as many as 14,000. I have to look that up. Just imagine all these things being like 500 feet tall from the stem to stern, whatever you want to call it, the top of the blade. And it's just about time that the environmentalists stop pussyfooting around worrying about the animals and the trees. Let me draw a little scale here. If you take your typical oil well with a horse head pump, it might be like that compared to your typical wind turbine. Your typical conifer tree, you know, one of the higher trees in the forest might be like that. So these things are just big, and they're bold, and they're making a statement. You know, they call them green, but that's not my concern. They're producing power, and the power they don't produce when the wind is slow is they have these natural gas plants that will that's a terrible drawing, back up the power for the wind farm. And so the thing tries to run seamlessly because it's getting power from the gas, and sometimes it's actually what they call a wind farm is more like a gas plant with a wind backup, if you want to look at it that way. But my main point is that we need to build as many of these damn things as possible before Jesus returns. Right now, I believe the United States has around 60,000. The whole world's got like 350, 360,000 of them. And we're basically showing nature who's boss, which is the way it should be. You know, it's the environmentalists have kind of shot themselves in the foot in a lot of ways, because they're claiming to be saving the planet with this, but it's really kind of a joke on them, if you know what I mean. And by the way, I did not vote for Mr. Donald Trump, though I do agree with him on many issues, but he's against these things, at least he says he is, because he wants his golf course to look pretty. I think that battle was already lost in Scotland. But Mr. Trump, we got to build this stuff. I would have voted for you. That's really not the only reason I didn't vote for you. I actually thought that you were a bit weak on certain issues, but that's another video if I'm around to make another one. It's been a while. I've had some health problems and this and that, but I figured it was time for an update on my channel. So, big wind is a good thing. It's built with big oil. The environmentalists have come around, whether they mean it that way or not. They're doing the right thing now, because it's building big. And I'm faltering a little here because I do have a bit of an illness affecting my motor skills and a few other things, but that's beside the point. So, what was I going to tell you? I'm kind of running out of words here, but I think that about wraps it up. I could just draw, trying to represent what these things, how many of these things we really need, and it's a hell of a lot more than you see here. I mean, this is, you know, you get the point. We need more of this stuff.